Welcome to the team, Caitlyn Clark. Yes.
First time in an MSG for a Knicks game, so it's pretty cool.
I know, it's our first Knicks game, first time feeling the atmosphere. We got to get you to play on this court one day.
We have to talk to Adam about that.
Can we make it mellow? Honestly, if there's someone
Even if it's a preseason game, we got to get it done. I don't think the Liberty will want to move a game over here, but we'll play anybody. It'll be fun.
Yeah. How could you describe maybe the atmosphere your first time in it?
Well, I think as a player, like, this is kind of when you feel the atmosphere the most, is when you're out on the court warming up. So, I mean, there's just a different type of buzz. And obviously when LeBron comes to town, it's probably really different. But, you know, Knicks fans are crazy, and I love it. I love people that are passionate about basketball. So it's pretty incredible.
But listen, there's a new shooter from Indiana. I'm the third best shooter in the state of Indiana now. Okay. It goes Caitlyn.
Yeah.
Tyrese, and now myself.
We'll have to get Tyrese's opinion on that. I'm not sure Tyrese would agree.
Right here, she's taking over for me right now, so thank you.
Let's be real, this isn't merely a headline for the WNBA. It is a seismic shift for women's athletics across the board, perhaps the most monumental turning point we have ever witnessed. I have absolute faith that a deal is imminent, and that leverage exists solely because the product we are delivering on the court has become undeniable. You need to recognize that you are watching a live changing of the guard, witnessing the torch pass while the old order crumbles to dust right before your eyes. Do not be fooled into thinking the spectacle on NBC and the disaster at the Doc Rivers press conference are unrelated events. They are chapters of the same book, the obituary of the archaic NBA mindset and the meteoric rise of the Caitlyn Clark era. If you are ignoring this tectonic shift, you are going to be left in the dust. Welcome back to the only channel that rejects the spoon-fed corporate agenda to serve you nothing but the raw, unvarnished truth. Today's lineup is a double feature guaranteed to absolutely shatter your expectations. First, we have Caitlyn Clark, silencing her doubters by executing a hostile takeover of the grandest stage in sports media. Then we have Doc Rivers, seemingly torching his own legacy with one of the most tone-deaf political takes ever uttered by a head coach. Let's set the scene. There is a lethal new sharpshooter emerging from Indiana. I have accepted that I am only the third best marksman in the state. Now the hierarchy is Caitlyn, Tyrese, and then me. We will have to vet that ranking with Tyrese later. But for now, let's begin with royalty. We start with Caitlyn Clark, because calling her appearance on NBC a mere debut is an insult. It was an act of conquest. She strolled into Madison Square Garden, the Mecca, the crucible where icons are either forged or broken. And she looked more at home than the seasoned pundits who have been warming those chairs for 30 years. Did you catch that posture? Did you feel that radiating swagger? She did not sit there like a timid rookie, grateful for an invite. She sat next to the legendary Carmelo Anthony, like she held the deed to the building. There was no starstruck idol worship in her eyes. She met his gaze, level pegging, talking hoops, dissecting Luka Doncic, and analyzing floor spacing with an authority that demanded respect. There it is, she is locked in and recognized the rhythm instantly. Oh, this might be a short night for NBC, wow. That warm-up victory belongs to me. Alright, that last game was smooth, but let's clear the air. And wouldn't you know it, that shot would absolutely count on the scoreboard. It definitely counts. So, can someone clear the net? Now the trash talk really begins. Trouble is brewing. Okay, here we go. Oh, absolutely not. I do not like that result one bit. Yes, that is game over. You love to raise the stakes, don't you? Oh, all right then, shooting off one leg it is. It is a tie game, but that one fell just short. You are okay. It was a little short but looked good. So there you are, and bucket. That stroke looks clean too. Okay, well here comes the heat, all right, here we go. Boom. Nothing but net. All right, let's wrap this up. Listen, I need you to grasp the seismic weight of her comments on the WNBA labor talks because the corporate press is conveniently sweeping it under the rug. Let's really peel back the layers here. When pressed about where the league is heading, she stared dead into the lens and delivered the truth. We are here right now because of the product on the court. Pause the tape. Replay that moment. She said the product. Do not miss the subtext. She is explicitly informing Commissioner Kathy Engelbert and every single owner that she times is the main attraction. She understands perfectly well that private jets, packed stadiums, and billion-dollar broadcasting contracts didn't come from a corporate meeting. They exist because she pulls up from 40 feet and drains it, and the world pays to witness that greatness. That is the one right there? Absolutely. No way, no way, no way. Unbelievable. Do you believe in sorcery? Because I know you conjure up miracles on the daily. This one is for Dave. This is for all the marbles. Let's go. There is basically a 0% probability he sinks this shot. Welcome to the NBC experience. Man, this is incredible. I have to be honest. This might be the dopest thing I have ever seen, brother. That was a targeted strike at the executives who tried to convince her that she needed the league to stay alive. Incorrect. The league was on life support without her. And she just reminded them of that fact on national TV with a smirk. It is the ultimate flex. She is holding a royal flush. By locking arms with NBC and the massive NBA infrastructure, she is constructing a fortress around her name that the WNBA's petty bureaucracy cannot breach. She is bulletproof now, and she is fully aware of it. Caitlyn, I have to interrupt you. You all are not in this spotlight because of the general basketball product. You are in this spotlight because of times you asterisk, girl. We are here for you, not for them. Stop it. I understand you want to be humble. Quit playing nice with these women. Right there. And we need to discuss that game of HORSE with Jamal Crawford, because that was the second the Caitlyn is overrated narrative was buried forever. Jamal Crawford is an absolute icon. The man possesses some of the filthiest handles in the history of the sport. He is a walking bucket. Then Caitlyn walks onto the asphalt in jeans, no warm-up routine, and starts sinking triples from the parking lot, giggling, talking smack, asking, "Do you believe in magic?" That is the X factor you cannot coach. That is the magnetism Michael Jordan possessed, that Kobe wielded, and now she owns it. She did not shrink from the spotlight. She grabbed it. She transcended it. NBC realizes they are sitting on a gold mine. Get ready to see her face on every broadcast, because the camera adores her and the viewership numbers confirm it. However, while Caitlyn Clark is single-handedly resurrecting basketball's popularity, Doc Rivers is working overtime to demolish it. This next segment is going to make your blood boil, but it is necessary listening. Doc Rivers, head coach of the faltering Milwaukee Bucks, a man who should be obsessed with repairing his defense and saving his career, chose to use his microphone to lecture Americans on border laws, specifically regarding ICE and deportation. Listen, everyone has the free right to a viewpoint. But when you are the face of a global behemoth like the NBA, you better have your facts straight. And Doc dropped an analogy that isn't just factually bankrupt. It insults the intelligence of every single Hoops fan. He equated the potential removal of undocumented migrants to snatching Hakeem Olajuwon off the streets. Let me say that one more time. He drew a parallel between illegal immigration and Hakeem Olajuwon, one of the most dominant centers to ever play. We need to check the record because truth counts. Hakeem Olajuwon arrived in the States legally. He held a valid student visa to play for the University of Houston. He respected the laws. He navigated the system. And he became a naturalized citizen in 1993. To liken his lawful journey towards citizenship to individuals violating federal law to cross the border is a false equivalence of the highest magnitude. It is intellectually lazy and creates a dangerous narrative because it distorts history to suit a political agenda. The comments on this clip are exploding for good reason. People are exhausted from being lectured by multimillionaires residing in gated fortresses. The fans are screaming, "Doc, your squad is tanking. Fix your pick-and-roll coverage and quit stressing about border security." This behavior is precisely why the NBA has hemorrhaged half its viewership over the last 10 years. Folks tune in to see a match, to take a break from the grind, to avoid politics, and instead, they get a sermon from a coach who clearly didn't do his homework on his own analogy. It is a shame because Hakeem Olajuwon is the definition of the American dream. He stands as the living proof of the American dream arriving here, grinding hard, obeying the rules, and reaching the top. But Doc Rivers tried to weaponize that legacy for politics, and it backfired right in his face. It exposes a massive gap between the NBA elites and the blue-collar crowd buying tickets. Caitlyn Clark actually gets it. She praises that electric New York fan base, she feeds on their intensity, and she genuinely respects them. Doc Rivers thinks his job is lecturing fans on his moral high ground, and the market is hammering the league for it. Just consider the staggering contrast in leadership here. Caitlyn Clark is only 22. Yet she speaks with more wisdom and business instinct than a 60-year-old coach who has spent decades in the game. Caitlyn knows the show is king. If the hoops are elite and the entertainment delivers, the rest solves itself. Doc Rivers has totally lost sight of the product. He forgot he works in the entertainment industry. Forget that, and you lose the crowd. That is exactly why the NFL is crushing the NBA in the ratings war. The NFL protects the shield, they prioritize the match, and they focus on the spectacle. The NBA became a political podium. And sure, that might win you likes on Twitter from the activist circles. But it won't move sneakers in the heartland. and it won't make folks tune in on a random Tuesday in November. Caitlyn Clark is the cure for that mistake. She represents a homecoming to pure basketball joy. She is the revival of meritocracy. She is the return to shut up and play. That is why she is the nation's biggest star right now. Look at the fan comments in the clip we just watched. They aren't tearing down Doc Rivers because of his heritage or his personal history. They are attacking him because his logic is broken, and they are schooling him on the real history of Hakeem. It proves the fans are sharp, they do the homework, and you can't trick them with emotional plots that fall apart. Doc owes Hakeem a massive apology for dragging his name into a debate where it doesn't belong. And he owes the Bucks fans an apology for obsessing over everything except winning basketball games. So, where does the path lead now? The future is undeniable. The future is Caitlyn on NBC smashing records, uniting men's and women's sports, and bringing fresh fans to the table. While the past, the dying breed, looks like bitter coaches making political speeches to empty rooms because they alienated the very people paying their wages, the league must choose. Do you want to be like Caitlyn, or do you want to be like Doc? I bet NBC knows. I bet Adam Silver knows. And that is why we are about to see a huge shift in NBA marketing. They are going to ride the Caitlyn Clark wave until it crashes, phasing out the divisive noise because bad business fails, and right now, she is the best business in town. I need to know where you stand on this battle. Are you Team Caitlyn, focused on the game? Or are you siding with Doc Rivers and his political lectures? Was his comparison to Hakeem Olajuwon fair, or just a desperate reach for political points? Sound off in the comments, because this conversation is defining the future of sports entertainment. And smash that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell because we will never stop exposing the truth. We will not stop calling out the plosives, hypocrisy, and we certainly will not stop celebrating the greatness of Caitlyn Clark.